no one's been able to explain this to me in a way I understand. Like, bro, no one can explain soap to you. Like, how the f getting that to the great? We're talking about ethics, all right? What, are you gonna bust out some quotes from Hume all of a sudden? Are we gonna start talking about utilitarianism, John Stuart Mills? Are we going to fucking dig down and dig deep, start talking about the Hegelian dialectic? Are we gonna start talking about fucking Immanuel Kant? No, you're Asmongold. You don't deserve respect. You don't respect yourself. Asmongold is a person on the internet. I don't know much about Asmongold's past. I have been told stuff, and it has gone straight through the back of my head. I constantly mix his origin story up with XQCs and like Dr. Disrespects and other random gamer people online, and I don't really think that there's anything of value knowing more about it. I don't think that Asmongold's a particularly complex or like interesting individual, but as a guy that's on the internet and commands a following because of that, and basically only that, his opinions carry more gravity than the opinions of random other people. Now, people who've been here long enough might remember that for our 500 sub goal that we did when I was passing 1,000, we cooked Asmon steaks. And so I have seen inside this man's home, and I know him. I don't know him personally, but like I have met Asmongolds. I have met so many Asmongolds in my life. Typically, this is a dude who, you know, kind of just slugs their way into some sort of generic like money job, you know. Gas station dude, maybe like a middle manager, somebody that comes and bothers you about stuff. I really don't want to fire you. Really what he's got is that guidance counselor at school type vibe, you know, like not a really great school, but like one that could afford an Asmongold level counselor, that sort of thing. Recently, a game came out called Palworld, which is basically a like parody sort of Pokemon. There's a lot of controversy surrounding it. I have not been able to verify all of the claims that are going on regarding it, and because it is going to, if not court, it is going to be going to being handed off to the lawyers, because fucking Nintendo, regardless of whether or not they have a case, if they can try to get some money out of somebody, they're going to do it. So I'll probably wait until that sort of level of discovery happens before looking at shit. But generally, Palworld is like, what if Pokemon, but also like better as a Pokemon game in general, but then also guns, slavery, and cannibalism, I believe. Which is neat. It's basically Postal meets Pokemon, which I can understand the appeal from. I'm not going to be performatively upset about a game I haven't played, and of which the production aspects of it I do not understand. However, I don't think I really need to know too much about the game to interact with Asmongold's opinions on it. He released a video basically saying, and I remember just hearing it, he's like, if you like, people don't care about AI. People just care if a game is good. If the game is good, people are going to play it. If they don't, they're not going to. And artists should shut up. I think that was like literally a part of it. And if it wasn't, the vibe is there. I don't care to be rules lawyered on this. It was extraordinarily dismissive of the entire AI controversy. And I think he probably got into it a little bit more. And I was just like, I'll watch that later. But now I don't even have to, because he's going to re-explain this all in his own words to us. And here we go.
Like, look, I was up late last night. I was reading some of the posts about myself, obviously, and some people are fucking pissed. Oh, like I feel like I made people more mad today than I have in probably like a month.
How?
That's
where is this like the kick thing that he can be streaming fucking Dragula in the background the entire time? That's insanity.
That's a lot. Probably even 6 months, maybe. No, 3 months.
Hold on, I just saw something in chat. Corn #1, Seethe, Zinch Nerds. Corn always #1 in chat, regardless of what we were talking about. This is a blood god. This is a blood god legion, all right? Sometimes we'll hang out with Slaanesh. Slaanesh. But we are a Blood God Legion. Fucking sneech. Fuck that nerd shit. Blood for the Blood God.
Maybe 3 months. I told Kaisi, I told her today, I was like, if I have one more situation, I'm going to begin a villain arc. I am one controversy away from a villain arc. The artist comment? Yeah. Like, I didn't even think that was a big deal, right? I mean, I didn't. I thought everybody knew that. I did. I thought everybody knew that what I was saying was true. Apparently not. Right? Like, because, so anyway, so there's a tweet. I got to go back, right?
Jesus Christ.
And so this dude goes and posts a tweet about me. He says, actual brain dead. And so let me go back, look at this. So, unbox people.
Yo. Who's hitting the chest though?
So this dude is not happy. Let me see if I can find where he went and said this. And so, for the record, Palworld versus Pokemon discussion. But I know something is wrong. Play whatever you want to play, but don't disrespect artists. Say stupid shit. So anyway, that's such a fucking good response. He said, the person he's like, they're so mean to me. It's just like, okay, play what you want to play and stuff, but just don't be dismissive of artists, which is, I think, obviously, where we go with this. He tweeted that he called me the N-word and he said I was stupid, but I guess he must have deleted that one. It doesn't really matter. But anyway, so this is a big...
Is it, okay, this is an irritating thing. This is just like a holdover. This is a holdover from the mid-early 2000s, where, like, white guys will hear fucking N-word, you know what I mean? The soft A. I said, not The soft A, because black people and sometimes people that are pretending to be black people will use that word conversationally instead of a stand-in like bro or dude. They'll say the N-word. Shut the fuck up. Since I started this stream, people have called me the N-word like a fucking slew of times, right? But mostly it's just like, I don't know, spicy black internet teens who are just like, you know, I don't know, trying to impress me with their command of slang. I will say this: if you're a kid on the internet, and like, if you're a black kid and you talk like type crazy street, I literally, with all due respect, can't tell the difference between you and a racist white kid. You guys sound exactly the same to me. There's no way for me to discern, so I just assume everyone's black. There's just no way to write that word into a sentence like, you know, come on, you know, blah, 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 to me. Like, you think it's lame, but also it doesn't offend me. There's no reason to say it, because it's pretty obvious that no one called this guy the hard R N-word, as in like, I'm trying to hurt your feelings over it. But that was a thing I used to hear so fucking much in the like mid-early 2000s or 2010s, because it would be like somebody got a little dusty up in the comments with like Ben Shapiro or fucking Ben, what is his name, Carl Benjamin fucking Sargon, and they'd be like, I can't believe, and then he called me the N-word. I guess they can say it, but we can't. Like, fucking shut the fuck up. It's just so stupid.
A big situation today, right?
Can an N-word borrow
with a lot of people mad. Like, we're talking about 19.7 million views on this fucking tweet. Like, we're talking about 5 million views on this one. Like, almost 20 million people in the last 24 hours, less than that, have seen this fucking post. This shit has blown up. A lot of people are watching it.
Hey, man.
And there's a lot of people that have messaged me. They're like, oh, I'm so sorry. So many people are angry at you. What the fuck?
Oh, no, it's right there. Yeah, this is it. I knew it. I knew it. I spiritually knew it. It was so fucking obvious. He didn't delete it at all. He said, you know, this N-word, Asmongold, is fucking stupid, which is usually, when I hear it coming at me, is how they say it too. Blank, you dumb as fuck. Okay.
What, guys?
The youth.
Guys, of course nobody likes for people to tell them that they're wrong. But this doesn't fucking matter. It's a fucking tweet. Who cares? Chill out. Everything's fucking fine. Yeah, I got food. I went to Shake Shack. It was really nice. Spent some time with my dad. Like, this is not, guys, I don't need to be protected. I don't need to...
This is actually a really based response from him.
So we're
in this regard.
And also, like, I wouldn't have it any other way.
He's trying so hard to seem like it doesn't bother him. I don't have any evidence to the contrary yet. It is a 2-hour video, so obviously it bothered him maybe just a teeny touch, a little bit. But I think generally it probably doesn't really. I think a lot of people that get mad about tweets are either in a smaller scale, like being like a lot of people I think they get mad about tweets are just being performatively mad about it for additional attention because we're all on the internet posting shit like in public, you know? And then just a small contingent otherwise are people that are just like mentally unable to like receive criticism, which is, you know. Tyler, you might be dumb, but definitely not as fuck.
Like I said this on a public platform. Now this dipshit did cut it a little bit out of context, but that's what people do. That's what happens. Fuck. I mean, that's the way it is.
Dude,
and so, anyway, people are going to talk about it. Like, I wouldn't have said it. I didn't want people to hear it. So let's go ahead. We're going to watch the clip. We're going to watch the clip. Cut things out of context. It's not that much out of context. It's a little bit, it makes it sound more aggro than it was. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's a bit different. Damn, the quality? Yeah, this is a 2016 webcam quality. All right, here we go. All right, so...
Okay, so in his defense, this might not be 2 hours of I'm mad. This might be 2 hours of I didn't fucking edit anything out of it. So it's just this is just the whole segment.
Expect me to draw a moral line. I have to perceive a difference that I consider substantial. And I do not consider the difference substantial. I was talking about the difference between procedural generation and AI generation, like generative AI. I feel like they both functionally do the same thing, and I don't see there being a large moral difference between the two things.
I think this would go into, but why does Asmongold think... You would have... This is another issue. You've got to fucking describe why. I know I go off on, like, stim locks and shit, you know, but, like, a lot of the times it's me trying to explain the difference between stuff. So, like, procedural generation actually does work very similarly to how... things like ChatGPT and shit were eventually put together. It's an algorithm that just constructs shit out of pre-existing parts. That's like a fair assessment, right? The thing that you're kind of fucking, and unironically, like if there's procedural generation in the Palworld game, that's probably, you know, what's going on. The issue with it, and when you step back a little bit, is mostly where are you getting the assets from? Like, Dead by Daylight procedurally generates every level with tiles, right? It's just the way that it gets put together. So every Dead by Daylight instance is slightly different than the one that came before it. You know what I mean? It'll have just a slightly different tile, a slightly different arrangement of shit, so that things stay fresh from game to game to game. That's at least the intention of it. There's nothing wrong with that. They're not taking, like, work from other people, and one of the most notable ways to see that is because when you're talking about like Dead by Daylight, all of those flow almost perfectly seamlessly with when there's actual errors very noticeably into each other. You can't really tell unless you've played the game a lot where the tiles end in Dead by Daylight and when they flow into the next one. That's because artists actually go in there and they work with all of the procedurally generated pieces and the map programmers and what have you to work. They work on it to make sure that it has a linearity or lineality to it, whatever, a holisticness. I don't know, fucking whatever. That it's a holistic product when it comes out in the end. That there's all smooth lines. That actually takes a lot more work than just making one good level, because you can, if you misprogram it, create a gobbledygook nonsense. You know what I mean? Minecraft is procedurally generated. There's spaces for each block. Each block has, whatever, and then there's an algorithm that decides this is all going to be stone. This is what, like, this biome is going to have this much stone, this much sand, this much grass, whatever, what have you. The problem with things that are going to be coming out, I don't know if it's the problem with Palworld because I haven't done any research into it yet. I was considering even just trying to play it on stream just to see what it's like, because people keep saying it's the most fun thing ever, but it looks pretty profoundly fucking mid. It looks just like any like kind of cheap Steam release, which I think is doing a lot to its discredit. But I digress. The problem that we're facing with other things is that all of the assets that are even being used to put together the shit in the blocks they're fucking stolen, or they're copied from places and then run through basically like a little mix musher that isn't there to create a new thing. It's just there to launder pre-existing things in an effort to not pay for them. That's literally it. You can hear that from the biggest proponents of AI. They just go, well, artists shouldn't expect $50 for this, blah, 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 when I can do it. Yeah, it's because you just want to fucking steal. You're just a thief. Let's see. You're also not typically proc-genning an individual asset like a model or a portrait unless you're trying to mass generate assets like in a Total War game. There's a lot of complexity. I think this is kind of what I was leading into with this, pausing him here, is there's a lot of complexity to this, and when you just say it's not different, the onus is really on you to explain why, and it's pretty okay for people to get really fucking pissed at you if you don't, which I did not see from the previous video.
That's what I was talking about, and I also talked about it in the context of people copying. So, like, for example, like you saw like the parallels between like the Pokemon and the Dragon Quest.
Palworld looks like Valheim without type mechanics. Valheim,
like,
another game I didn't play.
I don't view there to be like a large
vibe.
Moral difference between an artist using other art as inspiration or to basically create something that's another version of what the original artist made. I don't view that as a tremendously morally different thing versus generative AI creating an aggregate of art by using a million pictures. I don't feel like these are that different.
This is, again, it's just what I said before. Two main points. First off, like, well, who are you to make that statement? Because you literally just said something and there's no back up to it. You know what I mean? It's just, I just feel like the thing that I'm doing is okay. Well, like, yeah, anyone would say that. Officer, I don't feel like the age, no, that's too cheap. Officer, I don't feel like this road really should be a 65 mile an hour to me. It feels like it should be a 70. Other roads are 70 mile an hour. I don't understand why I can't drive like 15 over the speed limit. You know what I mean? You're going to have to articulate more than just your vibes, because this is actually a fairly serious thing. And obviously there's people out there that you can talk to. And obviously you didn't fucking look up any of it because you're still standing by it. Excuse me. I've gotten deeper into this, and I'm actually going to get into it because Demon Mama started presenting her counter argument to this, and I haven't seen it, and I'm excited to see that. Shout out any Demon Mama people that are here. Tell her I'm about to fucking talk about her. Tell her to come on over. Not about to. It's probably going to be like an hour or so. But basically, I thought this is the one thing I think about, and I think about, because I know I'm right, but it's hard to articulate this in a way that people that are underneath me will understand as far as art goes. Like, Tyler, that's condescending. Well, yeah, I'm condescending to somebody. Like, you can't come up to me with a fucking 2-3 opinion and expect me not to fucking dunk on you. Like, you're just down there, man. I can't. Do you want me to fucking lay on the ground so, like, on my side so our eyes are almost fucking equivalent? Like, it's just, it has to be condescension because you're fucking dumb. Artists understand this. But basically, how to explain this is the AI program never learns, for instance, how to draw a line. All right? When I'm looking at different people, say I look at Mike Mignola, say I look at Murata, say I look at Miura, okay? Like a good little fucking mix of completely different but still somewhat, unitable styles. I look at all of them and kind of how they build stuff together, and I say like, I would like to draw lines like this with like a sense of thickness, a sense of scale, how I want to slope it, and all that stuff. And I can't immediately do that because I also need to practice. This is a skill I develop, and then I have, regardless of if I ever see anything again. You can describe it to me, and I can still articulate things out with this pen, with these lines that I've taught myself how to draw in different ways. It takes a lot of practice to get there. And most importantly, it involves a sense of taste and personality. There is an aspect of me as a human being in the way that I just put a line down. If you don't believe me on this, look at the difference between the admittedly still very good-looking new chapters of Berserk and the old Miura chapters of Berserk. They are, you can tell, it's a different person that's still very lovingly trying to get Miura's stuff down, but like it's not him. His signature's gone. For better or for worse, I think it's fine and neutral. When I start thinking about how I'm going to approach color, I might look at Matisse, and then I might look at Klimt, and then I might look at fucking Rockwell. You know what I mean? And say, like, this is kind of like, okay, I kind of like these brush strokes and stuff and blah, 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 blah. But when I put together is now my new understanding of how to do that. I can forget, by the way, what the fuck those look like. I could look at a Loomis book and then forget everything that's inside the Loomis book, and I can still draw a Loomis head because that's just now wired into me. That's a part of me. With the generative AI stuff, you can't take out what's been put into it. And it can't take in new stuff on its own or make its own decisions. So it's fundamentally different. Well, like, okay, so if they're different, then what is it doing instead? What it's doing is just copying as best as it can to suit the desires of somebody that's putting something in. It doesn't know how to do shit. It can't. It literally can't know how to do things because that doesn't exist to it. It's not a human being. It's not even an actual intelligence. It's not an entity. It is just a series of sorting slots with admittedly complex mathematical values attached to it that you put in context and then it puts out context. It does not learn how to do stuff. It can't draw. It can't sketch you something, provide you a series of sketches. What it can do is look up the definition of sketch, relate that to something that is a sketch, and then basically copy chunks of those into something in the rough approximation of what you want. But it can't go off and do it on its own. It also can't create things independently of itself. It can't go, oh, fuck, well, have you considered like the possibility of this? You know, that is human labor. What I'm discussing is human labor. The ability of a person to do a thing, which is what you're cutting out of this interaction, but you're also not because you've taken other people's labor and put it in there. All right? Like that's now gone. And because the machine cannot create novel constructs, this is not just my opinion. This is a legal opinion passed down by the United States Supreme Court that's probably going to be agreed with by every other extant legal body out there except for some fucking goofity goofs. Human beings have to create something in order for it to be created. Everything else is just incidental to the natural existence of the earth. If you don't have human intentionality behind the decisions that are made in the creative process, then it wasn't creative. You can't, for instance, pay a gorilla to draw a painting because the gorilla, whatever it does, blah, 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 that's its own thing. It doesn't have enough sapience to understand the concept of art or the concept of its labor or maybe even the temporality of its existence relative to what it knows. It's just fucking existing, all right? This is a necessary aspect too because it precludes people from being able to create. Like you wouldn't actually want this, by the way. You would not want the machine to generate infinite IP that's actually like accepted as copyrightable material because then you could just IP troll everybody out of existence by creating stuff that's tangentially close to something and just saying that it existed there already. There's just a series of arguments going all the way down amongst all of this. Sorry, was somebody saying? Like, I just don't want game devs taking their competitors' assets, throwing it into a blender, and making their game with said assets. Which is true. Like, asset theft, asset flipping, and, like, asset reusing, kind of, like, basically, breaking asset licenses is bad for everybody because you're only going to get worse assets. Palworld looks like shit. I've just seen it. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, sorry, Asmongold. Like, you're only so interesting. Palworld. I mean, god damn, that's a rip. God damn, that's a fucking rip off. I haven't seen this shit. Yeah, fucking Christ, that's a rip. I can't tell. I literally can't tell what is and what isn't fucking Pokemon because I know all of these shapes. It is just such a rip. It's so fucking. If it was a free game, I would be 100% okay with this. Like if this was like a mod to like if this is like people used to make shit like this in like Source. Like this is like a Source mod that would exist, and like I don't care. But this is just hilarious. But this is what the open world looks like. It's just profoundly mid. I keep seeing this, and correct me if I'm wrong, but is that not 150% the fucking temple that the Turtle Pope is in Elden Ring? Like, but it's just hyper generic. This is what, it looks so good. It looks so good. Play like 3 JRPGs and you will have seen the entirety of this 50 times over. It's profoundly mid. It's just basic Unity shit. It's okay. My favorite thing about Tyler is he usually doesn't even end up reacting. He's too entertaining on his own to need to watch entire videos. Well, fuck it. I don't know how people watch Asmongold. With all due respect to him, if you pop through Asmongold, it's not me, it's you. I don't know how to say that better. You're just like a boring guy. You're not really very entertaining. Shout out the kids, I guess, that watch you and like people that agree with you. It's just, you're just crushingly fucking boring to me, which is not an insult. That's just like the nature of your disposition. Like play video games and stuff. I guess like he's good at when the video games are going, it probably slaps, but you have to have music on behind you. You know that, right? Like if you start turning that shit off, people click, 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 click. If you get to a point where people have to listen to music in your stream to listen to the stream, you know what I mean? I turn mine on when I'm gone. You turn yours on while you're there. You understand that? Like, it's just trash. It's trash content. Like with all due respect, like I don't know what you want me to say. Like, oh no, fucking, I want to watch this. Fucking, the dude looks like he peels people in his basement. All right, and he's got the I'm a people peeler lights on. So like I get it, you know. Like if I'm just fuck man, I want to just have somebody agree with me vibe. Like I get it, but like. What, okay, hold on. Before I keep talking shit, sorry, Asmongold. What is Asmongold's best stuff? Asmongold. Asmongold TV. Let me just see. Right. What anything. No. Shush. Let's see. I'm just going to click through stuff.
Curious how I feel about Smite and the Smite 2 drama going on.
Smite 2 just got announced yesterday, and it's already causing quite the stir in their community. If you were to take what Twitter was saying, literally, the game is already dead on arrival.
Oh, wow. Well, that's kind of bad. They should just cancel it then.
So if you're not familiar with Smite, it's a third-person MOBA with a ton of different gods that you play as. I played it a little bit back in the day, and I actually enjoyed it, but there were just so many other games that I was playing at the time, I just never really invested.
All right, we're going to get to the content here in a second.
Is that the vast majority of the skins that you purchased or earned in Smite 1 aren't being moved over to Smite 2. Now, Smite 1 initially released in 2014.
So that's what they're mad about? They're mad about skins?
There we go.
On Unreal Engine 3, Smite 2, which is said to go into alpha testing, I think in the summer of this year, was built from the ground up on Unreal Engine 5. On the frequently asked questions part of their website, the developers say that Smite 2 is a multi-generational leap from Smite 1 from UE3 to UE5. That means we have to completely rework or recreate every piece of content for it to function in Smite 2. There are currently over 1,600 skins in Smite.
I mean, most games do this. Like, the only reason CSGO didn't do...
Stunning. Does he have, like... Play the game. I want to see the game.
Okay, let's meet them.
Tell me, does the name Charlian ring any bells?
No, it doesn't.
It used to be one of Eorzea's 6.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, it's okay. You build up a fucking audience though, you know, and like people just like hanging out and stuff. It's like, it's just Hassan and XQC and all the rest. You could turn the chair off because basically it's just a paid version of like my Discord. You know what I mean? Where you guys kind of sit there and hang out, except for they get ad tokens for every like 5 seconds. Crushingly boring. It's trash content. But people like you, which is cool. Like they're fucking like, dude, you better never have a fucking complaint about welfare because you're a welfare queen. Like that's just what this is. This is just welfare. Paying you every fucking is what keeps me alive. Asmon supports AI because his content relies on other people's content 100%. Like he's just a boring guy to listen to. I can't take more than like a few seconds of it at a time.
And I haven't read an argument that makes me believe that I'm wrong.
Well, you're not a curious person probably because I'll smoke your shit inside out. But also, like, could you understand the argument? Like, don't you think it's like you're Asmongold? You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, you know, when you go to sleep in your like owl nest in your house that has like possums coming out of the ceiling, like, isn't it like a bit like bold for you to say like you don't understand something? Like, don't you like? it's probably above you, man. Like, you're probably just not fucking smart enough. Like, have you ever done anything in your life where people are like, fuck, intellectual powerhouse? Like, is this on the ass end of like a career in like, I don't know, being like a doctor of philosophy or something? You know, do you have your jurisprudence degree from somewhere? Have you been creating fucking kidneys and shit? You know, did you run a small company other than what's going on here, where like just ad buy people just give you money to keep fucking drinking energy drinks on screen? Like, you're Asmongold. Why would you understand? You know what I mean? Like, why would you be able to understand it? Like, where was the moment in your life where you became like educated or curious enough or smart enough to understand this stuff? Like, you don't even like, you're the most unwashed balls looking guy on earth. Like, how? How is you not understanding anything an argument for anybody? Like, I guess if it's like you have an audience of like the lowest common denominator people, sure. You know, like, it appeals to them. Like, you got guys over here doing stuff. I mean, even some of them seem like they're fucking agreeing with you, but like, come on, you're Asmongold. Don't base you understanding things like the world around you understanding shit, because you're just not that guy. You're not built like that, right? Yeah, I love Tyler because he's so willing to shit on people for their dumbass opinions instead of trying to seem diplomatic. Why be diplomatic? Why do I have to entertain this? You know what I mean? He's not the guy that invented the AI. He doesn't know anything about it. Am I going to fucking turn this on?
I'm open to reading one, but
and then all of a sudden he's actually describing shit that goes on. Why persist in the delusion that Asmongold has a point when I can simply call him a fucking moron and still arrive at the opinion that I would have arrived at after watching 2 hours in painstaking? Do you think I'm going to take notes on this? It's not like he's presenting shit. I'm like, oh fuck, yeah, that's a good point. You know what I mean? It's just like, no one's been able to explain this to me in a way I understand. Like, fucking, bro, no one can explain soap to you. Like, how the fuck are we getting that to we're talking about ethics, all right? What, are you going to bust out some quotes from Hume all of a sudden? Are we going to start talking about utilitarianism? John Stuart Mills? Are we going to fucking dig down and dig deep, start talking about the Hegelian dialectic? Are we going to start talking about fucking Immanuel Kant? No! You're Asmongold! You don't deserve respect. You don't respect yourself. You just have a big audience. Why the fuck would I respect you? Out of the fear that 12-year-olds will order pizzas to my house? Like, it's impossible. It's impossible to take him seriously. That's why I was like, oh, fuck, it's 2 hours. I don't know if I'll be able to get through 10 seconds. I don't need to. You started the whole argument just got started off with a false premise. Q, I don't know, fucking like Destiny or somebody. Well, why don't you let him finish? Like, write it out, okay? So that I can skip through your fucking waffling, horribly boring fucking delivery, and I don't have to stare at your 5 head, and then I can just get done with my fucking life. Like, how much can he really have to say about it? Is it going to keep going?
Inspirational art? I don't care about that because I don't believe original art generally exists.
Just wait for the twist on the 2-hour mark where he busts out sources and exposes the video as a deep satire on the folly of man. It would unironically and without reservation be the funniest end to a video ever. This is actually high theater. This is insane. This is waiting for Godot. This is waiting for Godot, but you're just waiting for a fucking fact. Would I debate Asmongold? Could it be called that? The question you're trying to ask is, would I entertain a conversation with Asmongold about a topic while engaging in a semblance of politeness? Yes. Would I react like this to things that he said? Probably as well. I can't, I am just like this. I'm like this to people in person. I've had my fucking nose broken a couple times. You know what I mean? He had opinions on, wow, now we need to consider everything he says. I can't imagine. Let's see, let me.
I think that almost all art is built off of other art, and that doesn't take away from it.
You don't think that? You heard someone say that on the internet, and now you're repeating it because it makes you feel good.
It builds on it. It makes it more special. It makes it better. Maybe not better, but sometimes it adds texture to it. All art is derivative. Yes, and I don't think that's not a bad thing. Anyway, so that's what I was talking about in the clip. We'll keep going.
That is such a condescending thing to say.
And that's really what matters. I don't think a lot of people do. And the truth is that I don't think that society at large sees it.
So let me just tell you, derivative is a derogatory term, right? Initiative of the work of an imitative of the work of another person, and usually disapproved of for that reason. Something that is based on another source. Based. Oh my God. The example for the second one is a derivative of the system was chosen for the Marine Corps V-22 tilt rotor aircraft. The derivative of the system was just a crematorium. If you understand that joke, you are 10 out of 10. But yeah, no, everything is not derivative of other things. It just simply isn't. And it's such an insulting thing to say. It's a thing that you have to not have ever made shit of value to say. And probably a lot of people that would anybody that would talk about if you work for the Palworld, if you're one of the Palworld people and you're proud of the assets you've put together, like, stop doing that. Don't be proud of yourself anymore. Everything is derivative, by the way. Is just fascist argumentation. If I dig down deep enough, I guarantee you I'm going to find it's going to be one of those things where it's like, actually was originally fucking attributed to Goebbels. Everything is derivative suggests that the things that existed before make everything that happens afterwards like slave to them. Like it's literally just a diminishment. A derivative work is a not as good copy basically of an original, right? It's just an insanely, insipidly cruel thing to say. It suggests that a child drawing a picture of their parent with crayon because they figured out how crayons and paper work, that somehow there is another work that is derivative of that. If all art is derivative, then of what is it derivative? You have to prove that statement, by the way. This is the worst thing about pithy sayings, is they allow fucking Fivehead here and people like them to be intellectually lazy as fuck. Just absolutely diminished capacity individuals. And feel like they're saying something, you know what I mean? Like, it's the same shit as if you didn't have anything nice to say, why did you say anything at all? Or the one that you guys are not allowed to say in chat that I get very upset about. Why not be positive? If you could be anything, why not be positive? Pithy sayings, you know? Because there's a pretendness, a pretension to value, a pretension to value in and of the saying that's implied by somebody important having said it, and just deferring to the authority of that person as opposed to actually breaking down the like inherency of what you're trying to say. All art is not derivative. It's just simply untrue. You can't provide me an argument in the opposite direction, because first off, there's literally no way to falsify that, because you would have to be able to categorize all art. All art, you would have to say, I have seen all art, and it is all derivative. And then if I just go into that 2 seconds deeper, it's a chicken or the egg argument. Okay, so then what was the first piece of art derivative of? Well, it was just another piece. Well, then that's art too. So at what point do we actually draw a line between art and so, you haven't thought of these things yet? You haven't really pondered these deep questions that have worried the minds of the biggest intellectuals that have ever existed on Earth? People whose words persist centuries, millennia after their death because they have opined on this subject to a degree. You just haven't considered it yet? Oh, that's crazy. I would have never assumed. Fucking goddamn. Like, do you hear the kind of shit? I want to have conversations with people that are at my level. Would you try to take a quadriplegic mountain climbing? I mean, you could. It might be a display of the greatest act of mountain climbing ever when you just strap them to your body and then climb up weighing as much as 2 people. But it's not like he's going to learn anything. It's not like he can have the conversation on my level. I would do it for the views. But like, I would have to say at the outset, like, I'm not really entertaining you as a person able to have this conversation. If you've got like Destiny back there in your ear, or like some other debate lord that's fine. But if we could just get rid of you and I could just go straight to the fucking source, that would be amazing. Because everything he's even said in this, the 5 things. Oh, Tyler, you've only listened to 5 minutes. Do I need to listen to much more? Are we going to? Is Ovid hidden in here? Are we going to just peel back a layer and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, the dialectic is apparent? No, it's fucking Asmongold. You guys shouldn't take this seriously. I can't either. I feel like I want to listen to a little bit more, but like, goddamn. Hold on, Fernando Jonjo. Tyler boasting about being so smart for majoring in journalism in a mid-level university doesn't look so good. He talks like he's some kind of genius. It's weird. I'm not a genius. This is mid. I'm mid. This is what mid sounds like. This is what mid sounds like. I have met so many people that are smarter than me because I fucking went to a mid-level university. Hate the party. This is mid. This is just average. This is what average is like. If I sound like a fucking genius, that says so much about you because I am literally in a contest of heights, standing a whole 5'8", and you're like, well, you're acting like you're 6 feet tall. No, my friend. I'm towering over you merely because you're almost non-existent. It's 2 foot tall bullshit. Like, you're just fucking dumb. It's comparable to just being well read and listening to things quite literally. Like, I just have curiosity. Like, that's my only fucking ability. That's my only trick. Right? I can't do heart surgery or anything. I'm not fucking like a great thinker. I'm fucking mid. If I'm mid and it feels like I'm condescending to you, don't say that out loud for your own sake. You tower over people some? Jesus Christ. Clearly. Talking like you're a genius. No, I'm not. No one I went to school with would be impressed. None of them. The people that dropped out wouldn't be impressed. You know what I mean? Like, motherfuckers are smarter than me. I would just be having a normal conversation with other people that are as smart as me, and there's still other smarter people who could also have this conversation. Like, just surround yourself with better people. If this sounds impressive, that's so fucking weak for you. Like, that shit sucks.
Now, some people do this. I'm not arguing that nobody does this.
I can't believe you're hating so much on our modern day Diogenes here. True. Am I shouting into the mouth of a barrel? He needs to man up. If you're gonna be Diogenes, Asmongold, you need to start fucking shitting in public, my man. You gotta amp up.
Sometimes the most immoral ones, and I think that there's a reason for that. It's because
Tyler, most people on the
really
internet
care.
are stupid. Listening to people talk about things with a modicum of knowledge is rare. Fair enough. But like, you can't just like, dude, yeah, I'm mid. Like, don't be impressed. To be fair, you do sound incredibly well read and you're able to articulate your points to the same level. I think calling yourself average is a huge disservice to the average person these days. Hey, I'm just trying to make fun of somebody. Shout out average people. I got the yes. Fernando, you have to earn your way back into the chat. Fernando, if you don't, you only get like a minute. If you don't give me some fucking Italian fingers in chat, you're banned. Give them to me now. I demand it. This is your penance for being noticed by the streamer. Give me my fucking Italian fingers in chat or you're banned. Literally, I know there's a delay. Don't say another thing without giving me my Italian fingers. You can say whatever you want. You can be fucking mean. I don't care. You can be condescending, cruel even. I don't mind. But you better give me my fucking fingers. Give me my... Fernando, give me my fucking fingers, Fernando. You better give them to me. Come on, everybody. Fernando, where is it? Come on, everybody. Where is it? Give me a mamma mia. Yeah, come on. Fernando, where's my... Yes! Yes! Fernando stays! Yes! Woo! Everybody, please give Fernando a fucking round of applause for being an absolute Chad with that response. Absolute kingship.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.